All right, boys. So today we're going to keep on reviewing what we learned about the life cycle of a plant. So if you can see on the board, we have our 6 words that we've been reviewing all week. Okay, so we're going to repeat. I'll say the word, you guys repeat it. Ready? Flowers.
Flowers.
Leaves.
Leaves.
Plant.
Plant.
Root.
Root.
Stem.
Stem.
Seed. Okay, so in front of you, you have a book. It's called A Seed Grows. Everybody say that with me?
A seed grows.
Okay, and if you look here, we have the author. The author is Julie Harding. Okay, everybody see that? Point to it so I know you see it. Good. Okay, so with this lesson today, this is our first day reading this book. We've talked about plants, we've talked about seeds. Now we're going to be continuing on with reading a book about them. Our goal today, while we read, is to remember the sequence of what we're reading. So at the end of every day, you can think back and put your day in sequence, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I can say, well, first I woke up, then I put my clothes on, ate breakfast, brushed my teeth, went to school. Okay, that's putting events in order and remembering the sequence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to do that with this book. We're going to talk about the sequence as we're reading, and then we're going to use these sticky notes to write down some important events so that at the end of the book we remember what we're talking about. Does that make sense? Okay, so if you open, okay, and it gives us a few title pages here. Okay, but if we keep on going, we know that this is going to be about a seed and a seed growing. We know that by looking at the title. Keep on going. Keep going. Okay, so if we look on here, everybody point to your seed. Okay, and who's one of our little characters that it looks like we're going to be seeing?
Spider.
The spider, right? So we can see our character. We see that it's outside. We know it has to do with the seed, plants. We've talked about plants, so we know that that's what our story is going to be about, probably, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then remember, these sticky notes are going to be for us to stop as we need to, so we can write down our thoughts and keep our sequence. Okay. So everybody take your finger, point to a small. Now for a little bit of the story, we're going to read all together. And then at the end, if we have time, then I'll have you guys reread to yourselves or partner read. Are we ready? Okay, so we're going to read, but we're going to keep our voice kind of small so it's not interrupting everybody. Are we ready? Here we go. A small seed falls to the ground and becomes buried in the soft soil. Okay, so what happens first? The seed has to do what?
Buried in soft soil.
It has to get into the soil. Okay, remember one of those things that a plant needs, it has to be down into the ground. Can it just grow if it's above ground? Or if it's on the sidewalk? It can't grow. It's got to be in the dirt. Okay, move on to page 4. Everybody finger on the. Here we go. The seed is buried in the soft soil and the rain falls. Oh, whoa, what's something else we need for it to grow?
Water.
Water. If it doesn't have water, can it grow?
No.
No, even us. If we don't have water, can we survive? No, so we've got to have to. So, on your sticky note, let's list the 2 things that we need on your sticky note. The 2 things so far that we need, the seed has to do. First it had to, first it had to
be buried in soil.
Has to be in the soil.
Just like soil?
So you can write soil. Anything that's going to help you be able to retell the story at the end, or the sequence. So I might say buried in the soil, or just soil, or seed in the soil. Any of those would be right. And once it got into the soil, then what had to happen? Look at your pictures.
It had to get water.
It had to get water. So I would probably add that to my list so I remember that's kind of a step in the sequence. After it gets into the soil, it needs to have water. So I'm not going to tell you what to write. I want you to write down what's going to help you remember. Okay, are we all good? Thumbs up? Thumbs up. All right, next page. before we read, looks like we're getting, the rain's going to come down and it's going to go
under the soil.
So it doesn't just sit on the top, it sinks through. So let's see. Everybody finger on the. Here we go.
The rain soaks into the soil that holds the small seed.
Okay, so the water's getting down into the ground. Everybody on the. Here we go.
The small seed soaks up water from the rain.
So the water doesn't just go into the ground and sit around, right? Okay, it's got, just like humans, we have to get the water inside of us. We've got to soak it in. We soak it in by drinking. They soak it in through the shell of the seed. So let's write down something here that's going to remind us what happens to the water after it goes down into the ground.
It soaks into the seed.
Sounds good to me. And after you guys finish, I'm going to have you do a pair share. You guys are going to share what you guys wrote and make sure that we're on the same page here. Make sure that we have the same ideas. Okay? Switch, just the second one. Okay.
So I put water sinks in the soil because if you on page 6, it says that it soaks into the soil. And then if you look right here, it says the seed soaks up the water. So I put seed absorbs water.
Good.
I put soaks into the seed.
Good. Okay, we're on the same page. Next page. Uh-oh, something's changing. Jackson, what's changing? What's changing with the seed?
The seed's green.
What do you think those, if you look at our list here, what's the thing that's growing off of the seed? Under the ground. Jack,
Roots.
Roots. I knew you knew. Hey, roots are coming out. So let's read and see if that's what's happening. Everybody finger on the. The water helps the seed and roots grow down deep into the soil. Yep, we were right. The roots. That's our big word there, roots. Okay, next page. Oh, now we're at the top of the ground. Tyson, what's coming out of the ground?
The stem.
And leaves. Looks like it. Everybody's finger on the. There we go. The leaves and the stem grow up through the ground. The leaves gather in the sunshine. Oh, there's that next thing we need to survive. What else do we need to survive? Sun. The sunlight. If plants didn't have sun, they wouldn't be able to survive. Okay, so on this sticky note, we have two things that happened. If we look back, first, what came out? The roots came out, and then up through the ground, and we have a leaf and stem.
Me too.
So we probably have a couple things you want to add to remember so we don't forget. But when we talked about sequence, we need to make sure things are in order. So I wouldn't put stem and leaves first. I would put what first? Roots.
You're good. Let leaves grow.
Sure. I think that's good. It's going to help you remember. Okay, and then on that page, what happened?
Sun made the leaves grow.
So
the water and the sun made the leaves sprout of the soil.
it's coming up and sprouting out, right? So you're just going to write a quick little note so that you remember what happened. Good. I believe you can read it to yourself later. Okay, when you're done writing, go ahead and put your pencil down so we know you're done. Okay, put your pencil down so we know you're done. Okay, turn the page. Next page, Mr. Jackson. Okay, put his finger on the. The plant uses sunshine to make food. The rain and the soil help the small plant. Okay, so how does a plant, why does a plant need sunshine?
To make food.
To make food. If they don't have sunshine, okay, they're not going to survive. Okay, plants are green for a reason, and we'll talk about that a little more later, but they have to have that sunlight to absorb and to make food. Okay, last page. Oh, not last page, almost last page. Everybody's finger on the. The plant grows taller and more leaves grow on the stem. The roots grow longer, they go deep into the ground. Okay, so it's getting bigger and bigger. The roots are growing longer and longer and deeper into the ground. Everybody's finger on the. The big plant grows flowers. The flowers make seeds. So what happens next?
It sprouts out flowers.
Flowers, and then Jackson, it grows what? And it makes, look at your sentence, what does it make?
Flowers?
No, it's for make seeds. Okay, it needs seeds to keep making more and more flowers. Okay, last page. A new seed falls into the soft soil. What will happen next? Okay, so what I want you guys to do, I'm going to give you another sticky note, and on your sticky note, they just asked you a question. Okay, but before you write anything, what do you think is going to happen next? A new seed falls into the soft soil. What will happen next? Tyson, what's your opinion?
The seed will get buried in the soft soil, and then it'll become a new flower.
Okay, so is it going to start all over again? Mm-hmm. Jackson, so that's called a life cycle. Everybody say it? The cycle. Show me how a circle. A cycle. Okay, so it's going to keep going and going and going. As long as the plant makes seeds, it gets them down into the ground, it gets water, it's going to keep on going over and over and over again. Okay? So, after you finish that, then we're going to work on this sheet in just a second.
So